remote students, you are going to be using watercolors this time. So not the colored pencils, the colored pencil watercolors like we've been practicing with, but this time you're going to use the watercolor pans that are in that little set for you. You're going to do a sphere like you did last time, but this time you're going to use brown, yellow, and black watercolors. So you can trace an object that's a circle to start in pencil. And then what I did is I just cleaned off the top of my watercolor set so I could mix in that spot. You can do the same, or you can always mix on a plate if you want to. So I started with a little yellow for my highlight, and then a little bit of brown. This is similar to the underpainting that we are doing in class. If you want to kind of test it out and see what color it actually is, go for it. And then I made a value that was slightly darker, had a little more brown, a little more yellow, a little less water. Water lightens a color as well, but so does the color that you add. And then I went down below to make even darker values. This one was just straight brown, and then underneath that, I made brown and black. Obviously, going in order is helpful, but sometimes we do things out of order, and that's okay. I made the darker value by mixing brown and black. So I have a nice light yellow-brown. I have something that's a little bit more brown, a little bit darker, and then I went even darker with brown and black. So I'm going to start with my darkest value at the bottom. You can start with the light or the dark, whatever you'd like. So I'm going to put in my darkest value first. If you notice, like me, that mine is not dark enough, I'm going to mix even more pigment in there and even less water. Painting is really trial and error, so that's what these sketch assignments are for, to make mistakes. So again, if you want to test out your color before you put it on your sphere, go for it. So I went even darker because that was not quite dark enough. And then I'm going in with a shade that's slightly lighter. Feel free to keep mixing as you go. Again, don't use too much water. It's going to kind of just bleed everywhere. I'm going to drag that color up. And then I'm going to water it down and drag it out a little bit more. Pulling that value up and around the sphere. Kind of blending in some of that extra water as I go. And everyone has a different style too. Some of you are really neat, crisp painters, so yours is probably going to be a little less streaky than this. If it is a little streaky, we all have different styles of painting. There's really no right way. All right, and then I am going on to my lighter color, and on this sphere, I'm making the center the lightest. Depending on where the light is hitting your sphere, as long as it goes from dark to light, that's what's important. Now, I forget what I'm doing here. Oh, I'm blowing on it to kind of dry it off. You are welcome to use a blow dryer too. This speeds up the drying time so that it doesn't just keep dripping from one value to the next. So I'm mixing that dark value. I'm adding even more black to make it a little bit darker. I think I ran out of room for that reflected light. So if you'd like to leave a little reflected light on there, you're welcome to. Feel free to do a couple of these until you get something that's successful. That's what I did. I did a couple versions. This is my actually least successful one, but I think it's helpful to kind of see how to go from dark to light. And remember, it doesn't need to be perfect. I'm taking a little water and just kind of blending the color so that it fades away from the dark to light. And And then when you're done, you're going to let it dry completely. If you have to kind of use a paper towel to dab any big spots up, go for it. I'm just blending a little with my finger as well. All right, so when you're done, hopefully yours is a little bit crisper and neater. Take your time on it. When you are done and it's dry, you're going to glaze color right over it using just colored pencil. And then you're not going to wet it again. You're just going to leave it as it is. So if your fruit is yellow, you'll put a yellow kind of coat using colored pencils right over the whole sphere, and it'll read as color. And this is good practice for our final paintings. If your fruit is green, again, the one on the right has a green glaze over it using just colored pencil or watercolor pencil. Don't wet it again. All right, good luck, you guys. Upload your work when you're done.